Welcome to another Mood Board Monday. This week I'm working in a new watercolor sketchbook. Here I'm using some watercolor markers to get started with some of the colors that we have chosen for this week's mood board. And I used some Titan Buff acrylic paint that I mixed and made really watery so it would spread all of the watercolor marker into kind of like a muted background to go with the theme of these colors for this week. And then I really didn't know what else to do. So I started laying down some paint. This is actually stainless steel, and then this is some Payne's Gray. I usually start these by pulling out all the colors that are on the mood board and then making the art journal page with them. So I was kind of looking at it and playing with paints and just kind of having fun making, I don't know, what weird background. And then I saw the flowers and I thought that would actually be kind of fun to do. So after I messed with the paint, I added a couple more layers because I knew I was going to go like in the direction of drawing flowers over all this. And so I just added some more paint colors here and there because it didn't really matter at this point what the overall composition looked like. I just wanted to use up the rest of the paint that I had pulled out. Now, I added some texture with some Bria Reese. This is actually their glossy texturing paste. So I put that down to give it a little more dimension. And then I got some of the, this is muted turquoise Liquitex ink. And I just started hand drawing the flowers on the page. And this page is super inspired by Megan Wells. I just love her sketchbook pages and her flowers. I'm slowly working my way through her Funky Florals class. And a really interesting thing while I have this time while I'm drawing in the video that I've discovered is that, you know, I doodle flowers a lot when I'm bored or just watching TV or, you know, even when I need something to do in my art journal. And what I found out is that, you know, I've gotten better at them and I can freehand them pretty well when it comes to all kinds of things. And so I've drawn them on a lot of my sketchbooks or on art journal pages or just on pieces of paper when I'm out. And I've been able to see how much better I've gotten as time goes by and I draw more flowers. And so what it helped me realize is that whatever we put our attention into is what we improve at. And personally, I'm struggling with just figuring out my illustrative style when it comes to, you know, figures of people, and so it's kind of kept me from working on expanding and practicing that. And so the idea that I can just take one subject and keep drawing it and get better at it is one that's really fascinating to me and one that I've been trying to develop, and it's through these drawings that I've been able to do that. So once I got all the flowers drawn, I started to block in the background, and I started with this mauve-y pink color. It was supposed to be lighter, but it came out kind of darker, and these are one of the colors I pulled out from the mood board, so I just randomly picked some spaces to fill in the background so that I could get a better idea of what the flowers looked like. And then this is acrylic gouache. Now gouache again is a very, very pigmented paint. It's either done with a watercolor or like an acrylic. And what's great about it is it's very opaque. You don't have to do a ton of layers. So when you're working on a background that is textured or has already been painted and you need to kind of even things out, or you really just want to paint something right over it, instead of having to do white and then do the paint color over it, as I did for years, I have the gouache now and it'll cover that space pretty easily and quickly. This I didn't mix with anything. I just used normal. I actually watered it down a little bit. So then I went in and this is Payne's Gray, and you can see the difference right away because you can see through the Payne's Gray a lot easier than you can see through the teal that I did up at the top here. And it's kind of slides around a little more and it looks messier to me actually, since the background isn't the same color. The color on top of it looks different depending on what it's over. So I just kind of was kind of playing around, and you can see kind of the difference in the supplies that you use and how that can change what's going on. So this is actually also acrylic, but I say but, the pink color is actually one of the Blick matte acrylics, which is basically like a cheaper version of the gouache. It will cover just as well, and it is matte, which gouache is also matte, but it's cheaper. It's like a Blick craft paint, and it works pretty well. So I, again, wanted to use up all that paint, so I blocked that in. And this is when I just remember that my phone can do time lapse when I'm recording. So I'm just blocking in more colors with the gouache, the teal, of course, and the tan. And then I decided to do one neon flower and add in some marker and some white paint to decorate it. And this is my finished page for this week.